Good morning. We welcome you to the morning stretch on a Wednesday morning. I'm Tricia Sloma, Matt Engelbrecht joining you as well. And here's Kyrstyn Glover, producer here. And you are doing an amazing job, Kyrstyn. We thank you for punching all the buttons this morning. Yay, yay.
Thank you.
You know, we have so much to talk about today. It's like spring, like everything that we get to talk about, everything from baseball to the Indy 500, the zoo, and what's this about cold weather? I mean, it's crummy. Crummy.
It's a good way to put it. And that's why we thought we'd feature stories that might warm you up. We're expecting temperatures to stay below average through the rest of the work week, but the weekend forecast back to average 50s and 60s.
Yet another reason why we hold on for the weekend.
That's right.
South Bend Cubs. Wow. You're going to play tonight. They're going to play tonight. You can go to the game, bundle up.
Yep.
Be prepared because it's going to be another cold one. Although there just may be a split in the action as far as weather is concerned. Is that right,
Not
Matt?
the baseball action.
No, baseball's going to go. Perhaps they're going to get this game in.
Yep.
Wedged between precipitation?
Yeah, I mean, that's spring in Michiana. I've probably said that 30,000 times. This spring has been a little bit different than last spring. Last spring, do you remember what we were doing just a few days ago last year?
The eclipse.
The solar eclipse.
I do remember.
And it was warm.
goodness.
And because our 7-year-old did a science fair project on the solar eclipse, so it had to do with temperatures. That's the only reason I remember. It was hot last year.
Yes.
And when that eclipse happened, it cooled down. That was last year. This year, we can barely see the sun
No.
today.
It does not feel like it's been a year.
That is wild.
year.
That is really wild. Where were you guys to watch the eclipse? I actually did the morning show, jumped in my car, made it to my parents' farm. Their farm was in total
Great.
Wow.
totality,
Yeah.
the eclipse totality.
Yeah.
So I got to experience it with my parents, my sister, my brother-in-law, my husband. It was really cool. But where were you guys?
Notre Dame.
Okay.
We were out there. They had a great event. Their science department pulled everything out and had experts walking around, and we had the family there watching the solar eclipse, and our oldest was drawing what he saw through the glasses and the telescope.
That's
cool.
cute.
That's cool. Kyrstyn, where were you?
I was over in Lake County at a community hospital. I was in the parking lot, and I saw all the nurses and the doctors. Well, not all of them, hopefully.
Right.
But they were all out there. I didn't have any glasses, so I pulled up really quick, and it was like just starting to begin, and I was like, "Can I borrow your glasses?" I didn't even want to see totality. I just wanted to see a
Partial,
little
yeah,
bit of it.
exactly. Be a
And they
part
looked
of
at me
the-
like, "Really? Really? You want to borrow our glasses?"
That's
and then I thought, I
lame.
was like, "They're healthcare professionals. Probably not smart for some random girl."
Uh-huh.
All right, I was like, all
Not
right,
random,
all
our
right.
producer.
Right.
Yeah, but they don't
seriously.
know me from Adam, so.
Not yet.
But I had a pair of sunglasses, and I made it work, even though you're not supposed to. I still was on my
Yeah,
car.
that's
I went
actually,
like this. I was like, "Oh wow, that looks great."
Exact
Hurry,
opposite.
glance away.
Yeah.
Yeah, you weren't
Supposed
supposed
to
to do that at all. One thing that I will remember when we were in total darkness, it was wild how quiet things got, and there was just this coolness. Obviously, it cooled down because you don't have the sun.
Right.
But exactly what you said, Matt. We were quite a bit warmer, and I remember when the sun came back out, it was warmer, and we were all just in awe of what we had just experienced. And then suddenly the birds started chirping again because we were back, and my parents kind of literally back 40, and they have a pond back there on their farm, and it's very quiet back there. So, yeah, you heard all the sounds, the
That's
buzzing
cool.
of nature, and all these birds chirping, and then everything went silent. It was really
What
cool.
an experience.
Yeah.
That's great.
It was
really
cool.
is.
This year, though, we're much cooler. We got the game. I want to talk about the game, though. Last night, South Bend Cubs won. They won the home opener. This is some video from last night. They were hosting, the Peoria Chiefs. They're part of a 6-game series right now.
Yeah, in fact, they're coming off of a 3-game losing streak. I can say that now because it was tough to say.
broke it.
I don't know. So they were 0-3 to start the season on the road, and then they came home and they kicked some booty as they were able to come back from behind and win it. It was good.
Yeah,
and cold.
It was a good bottom of the sixth. It sounds like,
Yeah.
Kyrstyn.
Yeah, so they were trailing by 2.
Yeah, 2 runs.
Couple of runs.
So that's great. I'm glad that they were able to pull through in the 2 RBI triple.
Yeah,
So
put them in front.
Very
They're
nice.
gonna continue this series. They're in for a long haul with the Peoria Chiefs. Game tonight is at 7:05. So folks, you can get tickets. You can go. There's so much to enjoy.
Yep.
At Four Winds Field. Something really cool that's coming up. Indy 500.
Meow.
Yeah, that's what you hear.
that was nice.
Have you guys ever been? Have you ever been to the Indy
Oh
500?
gosh, yeah, the memories.
Really?
Yeah. There's one very distinct memory that I have going with my dad, my uncle Terry, and a couple of my friends. But we sat in the stands. And the great thing about my family is we're very, not very organized, but there's some of us that are. My Uncle Terry took our order. So the great thing about the Indy 500 is you can bring in coolers. You can bring in food. You can bring in snacks. So you don't have to rely on concessions as much. So he was very big, and he continues to be very big on getting our specific orders. What kind of ham sandwich do you want? Do you want mustard? Do you want mayo? Do you want lettuce? And putting that all together, and we got these little coolers. He'd get, here's your cooler. Okay, here's your cooler. And we'd go and watch the race, and we'd get the headsets. So you could listen to the individual drivers and how things are unfolding.
That is so cool.
But it's just, yeah, it's one of those that I don't want to go back to the Indy 500 because I don't want to ruin that memory of, hey, Matt, what kind of ham sandwich do you want? Do you want cheese? Do you want lettuce?
You
It's just
realize how
Michael
much
Terry,
work
yeah.
went into it, just to make sure you kids had a good time.
Right.
What about your
Exactly.
kids? Do you want to take them sometime soon?
I think so. Yeah. So our oldest is 7. We're right about there. We went to a race last year. The Indy 500 is one race, but they have multiple events down there. One in August, they had an Indy race as well as NASCAR came together. So you got to see both on the track, but it was kind of the street track. So we're close to that. I think I think we could probably pull it off this year. I think next year I'd be a little bit more comfortable taking him down there so he fully understands what he's watching.
Wow. Okay, so we recently had the president of the Speedway
Right.
on. His name is Doug Bowles. You can watch the full interview at WNDU.com. But Kyrstyn, I thought this was really cool. He mentioned that tickets are going fast and they expect a full house. How many people do they pack in there?
350,000.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And give you some sense, he actually, Doug talked about this yesterday, if you combine the population of South Bend, the population of Fort Wayne, and then throw it into that small space, that is how many people show up
Crazy.
to the Indy 500.
Yeah.
Look, she's happy about it.
Yeah.
I went to, I couldn't remember what it's called because I thought what I'm about to say was the Indy 500. The drag racing thing they do. Is that, you know what I'm talking about? It's in
In the
Indianapolis.
Indy?
The drag
Is that the
racing
little brown
thing
jug
they
or
do.
something else?
They got qualifications. They got quals the week
No, she's
before.
talking
I
about
couldn't
drag
remember.
racing.
I literally thought that Indy 500 was
No,
this, and I was like,
no.
"Oh, I've been to that." Well, it's I've been to one NASCAR race though, and
Okay.
it was interesting. I went when
That's
I
the
was,
Brickyard.
The Brickyard.
Oh,
500.
okay.
I bet that's what you've seen.
Probably. I know it was an Indy, but
Yeah?
I was very young for both of these races, and I just remember being like, "Oh wow, oh wow."
It's
And
noisy.
I didn't have the big headphones though.
So-
Seriously.
My dad took
So
me.
wait. No eye protection for the eclipse. No
No
ear
ear
protection
protection.
No.
for a loud
What
event.
are we working with,
No,
Matt?
I
What
did.
are we
I was
working
getting
with?
that.
Oh
My
my
dad worked
goodness.
construction, and he had the little
Little
tiny
guys.
ones
Oh.
that you go in. Of course,
Oh.
they kept falling out. So eventually, I think I just took them out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
And
my gosh.
I also that day I had a terrible sunburn, so it's.
That's another one. Skin
Another
protection.
reason, sun protection.
Oh,
It was
no.
I was
my
a great
gosh.
kid.
Yeah, clearly you've grown up well.
Have you gone, Tricia?
Yeah, I'm worried about her actually. I have never been to the Indy 500. My grandfather would make the pilgrimage many times, and he was always such a gearhead, always loved racing, and I learned early on from my grandfather, the Indy 500, the Indy car is a specialized car. And he just made us fall in love with it. But I've never been. My husband has been. He's also been to the racetracks up in Michigan, too. There's a lot of good races up there. But yeah, this is all coming up Memorial Day weekend. Memorial Day, by the way, a little bit different than it has been because the Monday, it seems like it's a weekend off, but it's always, in the last weekend of May. Yeah, and this actually throws it off just a little bit because that Monday would fall into June. So it's actually May 25th, this race. So keep that in mind. It's not the last weekend in May.
Right.
Because Memorial Day has to fall in May. It's weird, I know, folks, but that's how the calendar works.
It's one of them years.
It is. It's one of them years. All right, Potawatomi Zoo. We got to talk about the Potawatomi Zoo. A lot of people going to see Zoo Illuminate. Did you guys go see it yet?
I've heard great things about it.
Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been yet, but there's still time.
Right, it's through May.
I was kind of hoping to go on like a warmer day.
Warmer day.
To be honest, but
Yes.
I'm going to get there.
Yeah.
Well, they're building a new exhibit out there. It's all part of the big expansion. They have a $5.5 million expansion project that's underway. And this particular exhibit is for the big cats. We're talking tigers, leopards. You're looking at some renderings from the Potawatomi Zoo about what this is going to look like someday. And it's actually to the east of the zoo. So if you're familiar with the layout of the land there, this is expanding into an area that they haven't really been in before. So it's kind of a wooded area.
Yeah, and that's what I take from this. The most exciting part is that they're expanding their footprint.
Yeah.
Before, up until this point, it's been a lot of how can we use the space we have to create new experiences. Now they've run out of room, and that's a good problem to have.
Oh, it is.
As they try to elevate not only the experience for people, but for the animals as well. And the zoo director was talking about trying to get away from small cages for the cats.
Yeah.
The big cats.
You get used to seeing rectangle cages. So, yeah, in fact, here's what he had to say on the noon show yesterday.
It'll bring in a whole new habitat for our tigers and leopards. It'll be officially the last habitat that gets all of our big cats into natural exhibit. So it's just important for us, just to be a modern zoo. We got to get away from the square cages. And we've gotten, attendance has been great. Donors have been great for the zoo. So we've done so much. And this is kind of the next big necessary step.
Oh, that's awesome.
One thing about that clip, you see the lizard he had?
Boy, did I.
Do you know what happened to that? So that lizard, we got done with the interview.
Yeah.
And he was walking off set. The lizard actually went off the couch and underneath the set. So we had to work to try to get that lizard out. And he brought it in a giant, I thought he was bringing beers, a giant cooler. I mean, this thing was a giant cooler. I was like, why is it? You open up the lid, there's a lizard.
I'm surprised it wasn't like I was picturing like a cat carrier, to be honest, like something like that. You put it in a cooler?
Oh, and it gets wet. Oh, completely forgot. It gets better. Where do you think they found the lizard? Look at that. Play that clip again.
You see him sneaking
Let me
off.
see.
It'll bring in a whole new habitat for our tigers and leopards. It'll be officially the last habitat that gets all of our big cats into
that's a
natural
rescue
exhibit.
lizard.
So it's just important for us, just to be a modern
there
zoo.
he
We got to
goes.
get away from the square
He's outta
cages.
here.
And
Oh, is that when
we've
he went
gotten,
under?
That's when he
attendance
went
has been
underneath
great.
the
Donors
set.
have been great for the zoo. So we've done so much, and this is kind of
But
the
it's
next big
it's a rescue
necessary
lizard.
step.
So they rescued it because somebody saw it walking down the road in Goshen. In Goshen. That lizard was on the side of the road, just and they called the zoo, and he was telling us that they don't usually take animals in. They can't.
Well, yeah, you run the risk of a lot of things because you don't know the diseases it might carry. You don't know its history, how it's been, and what it was being. Maybe an animal that had been trained or something. So they run all kinds of risks. But
How does a lizard like that
In Goshen.
Get
driving
in
down the
Goshen.
road. What?
So that's how they initially found it. But then yesterday they had to find it under the set.
Seems like he wants
ready
to go
for
on
a
a
good
road
time.
trip. He's
He really
ready to
does.
go.
Oh, gosh.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So fun things at the zoo and here at WNDU. That's going to do it for the morning stretch. Have a great day, everyone. So long.
Bye.